Hi, my name is Kelsey Smith, and this is Thrive Together podcast. Making a disclaimer, as all you may know, I am not a medical professional and I do not hold a medical degree. This is just my findings and my opinions, and the whole point of this podcast is to help you. It is to inform you and to give you useful resources to help you with your mental illness. So today's episode is about borderline personality disorder, also known as BPD. I am somebody who does have it. So in this episode, we're going to go over what it is, what the symptoms are, treatment options, coping mechanisms, and just a little bit about like what I've experienced with it to try to further help you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So, BPD, borderline personality disorder, it is a mental health illness um, that affects the way people feel about themselves. It also affects um, relationships and stuff. So, what BPD is going to do, it's going to affect your everyday life. It includes a pattern of unstable and intense relationships, as well as impulsiveness and an unhealthy way of seeing themselves. So, kind of what that is explaining is like you develop a pattern, right? You develop like a relationship pattern. So what that can look like is like, you're in and out of a lot of relationships. Usually you end up in the same relationship continuously that are very similar in certain aspects. Impulsiveness, that can look like, substance abuse, finances and stuff like that, which we're going to get more into that here in a minute. Um, and it's also like an unhealthy way of seeing yourself, so like saying that like you're ugly, you're not beautiful, you're fat, stuff like that. So that is also another thing that is BPD is we just have a very hard time of loving ourselves and thinking that we are beautiful to ourselves. People with BPD have a strong fear of abandonment or being left alone. I struggle with this a lot. I do not like being alone. I'm learning how to be alone now that I am in therapy and everything and going through my coping mechanisms. It's been helping me a lot being able to be alone. We just have that fear that, everybody's going to leave us. It could be friendships, it could be relationships like partners and stuff. It could even be family members. You can get very fearful that they're going to abandon you and leave you. So, and it can be very hard to get through. Even though they want a long lasting relationship, they fear of being abandoned often lead to mood swings and anger. So yes, obviously everybody in the world, we want to be loved, we want to love, we want to have those relationship goals, right? Growing old together. But when you have BPD, it can affect it in huge amounts of ways, which I'm going to continue to get into. And I will kind of like give examples and my own personal experience. So, um, it may also lead to impulsiveness and self injury that may push others away. So what that's saying is like, if you are like reckless driving, nobody's gonna want to drive with you anymore. If you are getting into substance abuse like drugs or alcohol, people aren't gonna want to be around that anymore. So it can push people away, those impulsiveness, especially if with BPD, you can also get like very angry. Those are those mood swings. People describe it as a roller coaster, um, and it can push people away because they don't want to put up with it anymore, which we will get into that some more. um, BPD is often explained as black and white thinking. So what that is saying, so like, okay, a normal brain, okay, you have your positive thinking, you have your negative thinking, and then you have that gray in the middle. People with BPD, we do not have that. We have black and white thinking. So it's either really, really bad or it's really, really good. We don't have a center point um, to, mix all the good and the bad together. It's either it's really bad or really good. I've seen MRI scans for like people who have BPD, and a normal brain, right? A normal brain, your brain is lighting up like a Christmas tree because you have all these emotions, like you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're meh. People with BPD, our brains do not light up. It is pretty, I mean, like it lights up like a little bit, but not nowhere near where it needs to be. So we have a hard time regulating our emotions. Um, and that's where we get into our high highs and low lows. It's kind of like bipolar disorder. The only difference is with bipolar disorder, your high highs are going to last for about a week or two. And then your low lows, same. It's going to be for about a week or two. With BPD, I mean, every day is different. It's never the same. We're either very happy or we're very angry. So that is the difference between those two. And I think next week I'm going to go ahead and cover bipolar disorder, just so you guys can see the differences between the two. Borderline personality disorder, it's one of the most intense mental illnesses to have. Not saying that, like, we're better than anybody else who struggles with different mental illnesses, not saying that, like, what we go through is worse. Everybody has different side effects, symptoms, coping mechanisms with every single mental illness. So please do not think that, like, we're trying to be like, oh, like, we're better than you. Like, no, it's not that. It's just how we handle things and how the intensity of the feelings can get. Um, so with borderline personality disorder, there's three different things that goes on during it. So you'll have your emotional dysregulation. That's where that's what I was saying. We can't manage. So sorry if you hear barking. It's the neighbor's dogs. I'm outside today. Oh, I'm in my comfort space. So we have a hard time regulating our emotions. So like I said, we're either very happy or we're very mad. The littlest triggers can cause these crazy outbursts. They can cause these very intense spikes of rage. Oh, so sorry. Attachment and identity insecurities. So this is where we have that push-pull attachment style. I know before I was diagnosed with BPD, I was always told that I have the push-pull attachment style. Never really knew why I had that attachment style, and now it makes sense. So usually, like, if I feel like somebody's gonna leave me, like I'm going into that abandonment issue, I guess I would say. I can't find the words today. I usually never do with these videos. So usually when I feel like somebody is going to abandon me, I get very, very lovey. Some people might say that it's annoying that I'm overwhelming with emotions because, like, I'm just so in love. I want to show you that I love you. And then next thing you know, I don't want to be touched. I'm like touched out. I don't want to be near anybody. I just kind of want to be alone. That is what that push pull attachment style is. There are ways that you can fix that. Definitely a lot of therapy and work on yourself can change that attachment style. I know us people that have BPD, we don't like being this way. We don't want to be this way. We hate being this way. Um, I will get into more of that later. Another thing is risky coping and harm to yourself. So the risky coping is where you're just trying to feel better. That's where we have that like push attachment style. We don't want your attention. We don't know why. We don't really know what's going on. We just want to feel better. So that risky Coping could be like spending your money like crazy. It could cause cheating. It can cause you to get into risky sexual intercourse that you don't use protection and stuff like that. That is what that is. I will go into more of that later. Chat, as I'm going through this video, I will probably stop at a couple seconds and like talk about what it means and everything. There is a section here later on in the video going over those actual things. So please bear with me. I'm still learning to be very organized and where to talk about these certain things, because usually like if I start talking about something, my brain's going and I just like want to get it out before I forget. Okay. Splitting is a coping mechanism. So I will go into what splitting is, what that looks like and everything here in a minute. Splitting is a big symptom for BPD. I will go into that in a second, but just know splitting is our coping mechanism. Okay, so I talked about the black and white thinking. I kind of went into like, what the brains look like on MRI scans and everything. So our brains see people as towers, right? So it's either really good or really bad. It's not only like what our brains look like on an MRI scan, but it's like how we view things with other people and other situations. We look at them as towers. So we have our really bad tower, and then we have our really good tower. We don't see people as a whole. So that's where that black and white thinking is coming into play. We don't see people as like, oh, like they're really good and they're really bad. Like it's either you're really good or you're really bad. I will get into that more, into like that relation, what that looks like in a relationship and everything. BPD is, and it can be an invisible illness. The reason why I say that is because looking into like the outside world, like at work and stuff like that, like we can seem very normal. Our BPD symptoms really show at home, and it's usually to the people that are closest to us. And I will get into why that is later. Uh, BPD, it can affect your relationships, your job, your finances, your self-image, your parenting, and it's really all because, right, our brains are just not firing the way that it should. BPD is often described as a person living with third degree burns. It's the reason why I say that is because it's the intensity of our emotions. So like I said, we're either very angry or we're very happy. When we are very angry, we can feel it from our head to our toes, and we don't know how to process that. So that's when we can get very angry. We're not making sense of what's going on in the situation, and it causes us to, in a sense, not really laugh. I don't want to say lash out, because like we're not violent. Sometimes in rare cases we can become violent, and that's if our emotions are like very heightened, and it takes a lot for emotions to get to that violent stage. I'm not a very violent person. I mean, I've thrown maybe like a water bottle because I was just angry. Um, but I'm not like the abusive, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you because I'm mad. Please don't be scared of us. We are very harmless. We're just very intense. Our emotions, we're having a very hard time regulating them, and I will teach you how to help regulate those emotions when they get that intense, and how partners can also help you through that as well. What else was I going to say with that? Oh, yes, but like I was saying, when we get very angry, we feel it. Like it's a horrible feeling. The best way we can describe it is like third degree burns, because like, we want to get out of it. We do not like being in that state of mind. We know that it's not healthy. We know that it can be very intense and it's a lot to take in. We just don't know how to regulate that. Symptoms for BPD: self-isolation. Self-isolation is where you get in these moods where you don't want to go anywhere. You just want to stay home, or you just want to stay in your little bubble. And you kind of start to, what's that word? Dissociate. We start to dissociate, and it's not because we don't want to hang out with you or talk to you. It's really because like we are just so overwhelmed with emotions that we don't know how to process them, and we're trying to process them in those moments. A fear of abandonment and engulfment. So that fear of abandonment, we're scared that you're going to leave us, you're going to abandon us, right? Fear of engulfment, that is where we are we have a fear that you're going to overcrowd us, that you are going to try to fix us. I'm going to make a side note. We do not want you to fix us. We want you to just be there when we need you. I know that might sound crappy, especially if you're in a relationship. Like, you, of course, you want your partner to help you. You want to help your partner, but don't overcrowd them, because we have that push-pull attachment style. And push-pull attachment style is another symptom. We don't want you to leave, so we can become very annoying, asking a ton of reassuring questions, being very affectionate, and then we push you away, not wanting attention. It's not because we don't want your attention, it is literally because of our so intense emotions that we just don't know how to process, and we feel very, very overwhelmed, and that's where we get that touched out thing. A pattern of unstable and intense relationships characterized by alternating between extremes and idealization and devaluation. Um, so an example is like you were head over heels in love one moment, and then the next moment, like, you hate them, they're the devil, they're the worst things in your life. That is that a part of that BPD. That's that good and that bad thinking, that black and white thinking. Identity disturbance, markedly in how do I explain this? Okay, so you know how like you hang out with like friends and stuff, and you get like new friends and stuff, and you just feel like they don't really like you, right? So you're like worried that they don't want to hang out with you anymore. They don't want to be your friends. So what do you do? So people with BPD, they have a very unstable self-image or sense of self. When you have a hard time keeping friends, you tend to change the types of people you like and your views and values to match theirs. So that is where I'm me, I'm myself, and the next thing you know, like, I hang out with a group of girls or something, and they're like really into like clubbing or something, and then like you start clubbing a lot because you want them to like you, and then like it just starts changing yourself. You just have this hard time finding yourself when you do that. That's a big one with BPD. Impulsivity in at least two areas. So you have to have at least two different types of impulsivity: spending money, sex, substance abuse, reckless driving, and binge eating. Um, I have all of them. I wouldn't really say that I have reckless driving. Actually, I can't say I have all of them because I don't abuse substances. I've never been one to like drink a lot and try drugs. I was never into that. I don't like not feeling like myself. I don't like that feeling. Um, but reckless driving, I mean, like, I would say maybe a little. When I used to get very upset, I would kind of like skirt off as they would say. Very dangerous. Do not recommend it. Obviously, I was safe and everything, but when I would get angry, that's what I would do. Um, Spending money, that is a big one. We get in those moods where we're very upset and we're trying to find something to make us feel better. So we will go spend money like on clothes, we'll go out to eat with friends or even by ourselves. Not really by ourselves. What am I talking about? It's always with friends or family, somebody. We always have to have someone with us. We're scared to be alone. Um, God, so sorry. Sex can be a big one. So like if you're having one of this is what's going to be hard for me to explain because I don't really understand it myself a whole lot yet. Still working on that in therapy. So what that can look like is like, I mean, yes, you can, if you're single, you can go do whatever you want. But like it's how do I want to explain this? I've been having a difficult time all day today trying to figure out how to explain this in the correct way without it sounding like really, really bad. I guess I just need to come out and say it. And if you think it's bad, I guess you think it's bad. I mean, I don't do this anymore since I've been in therapy. And I have my workbook to, help me with my symptoms and everything. So usually what it would look like is, let's say I'm in a relationship, okay? And me and my significant other were fighting and everything, and I have this fear that they're going to abandon me. They're acting different. I would go for whatever attention I would get, right? So that could look like talking to other people, hanging out with other people, cheating, having sex with other people. That's that impulsivity that we want to avoid. Um, they definitely are a very impulsive thing. You don't think about it, you just do it, and then you regret it later. We don't want that. We don't want you to feel that guilt and that shame. So we need to avoid doing those things. We need to use our coping mechanisms and everything and start to communicate and stuff. So then that way, like we defer from these impulses. Definitely like try to budget and stuff. I found that um, what's been helping me from spending my money like I used to, um, I budget and I really just focus on like, I don't want to be like that anymore. And I think that's really what helped me through it was telling myself, like, I don't want to be in financial issues. I don't want to have to worry about not being able to pay for my car or my house or my bills or to get extra food in the house for the kids, like it's just stuff like that. I know it can be very, very difficult for some people. Um, and you have to find a way to help you to defer from that. um and I really think my workbook has been helping me a lot with that aspect, with all of the aspects actually. Okay, moving on. Reoccurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, or threats, or self mutilating behavior. So that's talking about like, if you're cutting yourself, you're constantly cutting yourself, and then like you stop for a while and then you start again. I am somebody that used to cut myself. It was a very long time ago. I found that making a promise to myself helps me a lot from deferring from that behavior. Um, what else helped me? Um, Honestly, finding something that I enjoy to do. I really enjoy my job. I just started gardening and I actually really enjoy it, especially seeing like this is my first year ever doing it, and being able to watch my garden grow without having very much knowledge about what I'm doing. It gives me something to look forward to. So, and definitely setting up little goals for myself every day helps. Um, Affective instability due to marked reactivity of mood. This one was in my book and I wrote it down and I didn't finish writing it down because it was a lot. It was like a lot of information to write down, so I was just gonna read from it. Let's see. See, I make little notes to myself. Okay, what one was that again? Okay, we did that one. Affective instability due to marked reactivity or mood. Example, intense episodic dysphoria, irritability, or anxiety usually lasting a few hours and rarely more than a few days. So this is like, let's say like when you're not around your friends, you often like maybe curl up in a bed and cried or gasped for ways to calm yourself down and feel connected. Such as like, okay, so this is a good one. So like I've been there before where my friends were busy or whatever, and then like I got really depressed. So like, I went into bed and I cried, and I cried so hard that I was like gasping for air. So like I would go on these like texting sprees, and or like I was looking up for a hookup, you know? So that is another one that sucks. But these episodes can be very tricky, and I do have a coping mechanism for them that I actually use, and they help a lot. Chronic feelings of emptiness. So that's where like you feel like you're alone, like nothing's gonna make you happy. Um, even if you're not alone, like literally, have you ever heard that saying like they sing it in songs all the time where they're like, I'm in a crowded room but I feel so alone. That is that chronic emptiness. Another one is inappropriate intense anger or difficulty controlling your anger. um I've had quite a few of these, probably very often. um like I said, I'm not a physical angry person. um I have been a couple times. I feel like this is kind of gonna go with like the trauma, and it's kind of like a learned behavior. So like if you're in a domestic violence relationship and you're someone with BPD, sorry, I was getting a call. So if you are someone with BPD and you're in a domestic violence relationship, you will actually start to learn those behaviors and you will start reflecting that on a relationship when you get into it. And that's if you don't get any help. So that is why I'm a big person on like, if you go through any type of trauma, get into therapy. If you can't, try to find like support groups around, or try to do research yourself, get a diagnosis and try to treat that, because you can carry those um, actions and that behavior with you to another relationship, and it's not a good place to be. I For a long time, I was very angry with myself for being the way that I used to be. I never want to be that person again. I think that's what helps me through when I go through my BPD episodes and I get very angry, to try to remind myself, like, we're not going to be this person anymore. This person was not happy. This person was not us. That was not us at all. And we don't want that to consume us. So trying to get that wired into your brain. You don't want to be that person, that physical person. It's not a good place to be, even mentally and emotionally. Like, going off on people and saying things you don't mean, that's a big thing with BPD. When we get angry, we can say the most bizarre stuff. And after we realize that we said it, we feel so horrible about it. And let me tell you, I think it's worse than actually feeling the intense emotions. Because you feel so guilty, and you just don't understand why you would ever come to that, why you would ever say that. And of course, you can't take back words. So when you're angry, I want to tell you the coping mechanisms that you can use, but also try to tell yourself, like, I don't want to be this person. This person's not us. This person's not a fun person. It's not really a safe person. Even if you say things out of anger, like, you can still cause mental damage to other people. So we really, really have to try to remember that. It's been helping me through a lot. And I have definitely been making a huge change in my life ever since like, right when I got diagnosed, I was like, okay, I know what's wrong with me. This is the steps that I need to take. This is what I need to do. I'm better than my mental illness, and I can be better for other people. I need to acknowledge it, accept it, change it, and then we'll find some peace there. Uh, another one is you can have an out of body experience. I've had a couple of those. So what that is where you have this intense fear. So a story of mine is, one of my children, they got stung by a bee, and it was like kind of like the first time they've ever been stung. And I didn't know if they were allergic or not. So I started getting into that fear, right? I'm fear something bad is going to happen. Mainly my big fear with that was I was scared something was going to happen to my child, and then next thing you know, they would leave me. So sorry, I'm trying to get this chair. There we go. So I started having that out of body experience. I felt like, and it's exactly how it's described exactly how it sounds. You feel like you are no longer in your body, and you're kind of like floating out. Like, you can still see everything that's going on, but you like aren't in your body. It's the weirdest experience I've ever felt. I've only gone through it a couple of times, and it's scary. It can be extremely scary, but just know that, like, you're safe, you're okay. If you're driving, make sure that you pull over. It only happens for a couple of seconds, and then it goes away. Maybe not even a couple of seconds, maybe not even a second. Like, it's a very quick, weird experience. It can freak you out. Just know it is normal, and you are okay. Causes. Did you know that only 1.4% of adults in the United States have BPD? That's crazy. That's a very low number. So if you have it, I am so sorry that you have to go through it, but we will get through it together. Causes. Trauma is like I've been telling you guys, trauma is a big one that causes a lot of mental illnesses. Trauma is one of the number one things that causes things. It really just depends on what part of your brain that it affects and what it does to your brain. So trauma can be sexually, physically abuse, or neglect. Um, and then it could be hereditary. It can be hereditary. And I think for me, that's one of the most scariest things, is for one of my kids to develop it, and it would be because I have it. So definitely, know the signs and everything. So you can try to get your child into a therapist or a therapy group, or start working with them with, like, I'll say all the treatments here in a minute, but definitely try to get them help, because this is, if I would have known sooner that this is what I had, I feel like it would have stopped more than half of the things that I've been through already. Unstable family support, that it can also be a cause for BPD. Social environmental factors can also cause it. Treatments for BPD can be DBT, also known as dialectal behavioral therapy. What that is it helps you accept the reality of your life and your behaviors, teaches skills to help you control intense emotion, reduce reduce self-destructive behaviors, and improve relationships. Another one is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It helps take a look at your thoughts and emotions, understanding how your thoughts affect your actions, unlearn negative thoughts and behaviors. Those are, I've heard people going, I am not in it. I want to get into these therapies. I think, if you have BPD and stuff, it's something you definitely should be looking into, because we want to get out of these fears of abandonment. We don't want to be like this anymore. We hate being like this. Group therapy may help people. It may help. I'm a big person on group therapy. I feel like it really shows you like different experiences and symptoms and coping mechanisms. Because, like I said, not every coping mechanism is going to help you. You really have to try to find it yourself. That's why usually when I do these episodes, I try to list a lot of coping mechanisms, only because of the fact that just because they work for me doesn't mean it works for you. I mean, that's with anything, with counseling, therapy, medications. Everybody's different, and we really just have to push for these coping mechanisms. Counseling, so that's that talk therapy. That's currently what I am in. It does help a lot. It helps you get all these emotions out. Kind of what the counselor is going to do is they're going to try to help you find the root cause to the problem. That's why it's very, very important to journal. I love to journal. Medications is an option. I am not a person that takes medication. If you do, I give you a lot of props. Medication is not for everybody. It definitely is an option. If you want to try it, please do. I am never going to tell you that you should not be on medication. It works for some people, it works for some, maybe not some. So definitely, if you are looking into it, try it. Workbooks. Workbooks. Love my workbooks. Disclaimer, I do not own this book. I did not write this book. I own no rights to this book. The Borderline Personality Workbook. This is my all-time favorite. It'll always be my number one choice for if you don't want to be in like therapy or anything. You can get this on Amazon. It's very affordable. And what it does is all right, so it's going to tell you like BPD 101. Where does it come from? Attachment BPD. What is your BPD type? I did not know this until I read this book, but there are, I think it's 4 different types of BPD. I did not know that. So, what types of BPD are there, you might ask? Hold on, I'm looking for it, you guys. Please stay with me. All right. Yes, there are 4 different types of BPD. There's discouraged, impulsive, petulant, and self-destructive. So discouraged BPD is these individuals tend to have difficulty making up their mind, have a strong need to be around others, have intense internal anger that builds up until they explode, and act out when they feel pushed to defend themselves or when they feel they're not being heard. Impulsive. These individuals are often flirtatious, tend to focus on the surface of things rather than going deeply into any one issue. Have high energy but lost interest in things and people easily and act without thinking. Others tend to know what these individuals will do next. So they're very others tend to not know. So sorry. That's what that impulsive is. You never know what they're going to do. Petulant. These individuals tend to be quick to express annoyance or dissatisfaction, have difficulty waiting their turn, are easily frustrated, and see the world as hurtful and negative. Others are uncertain about how these individuals will behave next. I am the petulant type. Self-destructive. These individuals tend to have difficulty making decisions, may be humble in one instance and then inflexible the next. Tend to be undecided about most things, behave without thinking about the consequences, may hurt themselves physically, and see themselves in a very loathsome and negative way. So, how are you going to know what type you are? Well, in this book, there is a quiz. It's an assessment. There's like 3 different sections of assessments, and then whatever your highest score was, that's the type that you are. It's really crazy because I scored like a 12 on all of them, but the petulant I scored a 13. So I think I'm pretty close to being all of them. But like I said, this workbook, it helps you a lot trying to understand what your BPD is and what type you are and what next steps you need to take. And then it tells you about like the symptoms and then the first steps of like growing beyond your BPD. Where are you in the process of change, beliefs, behaviors, and benefits that keep you stuck? The 8 trigger categories: recognizing positive and negative relationships. And then part 3 is addressing and changing negative behaviors and patterns of BPD. Freedom from the trap of emotional buttons, controlling high risk situations, challenging and changing dysfunctional beliefs, self soothing to enhance personal control, strengthening love and resolving relationship conflict. Part 4 is reconstructing your world and building a new you, getting to the heart of the issue, distortions that keep BPD in place, growing beyond destructive fears, beliefs, and wishes, defense mechanisms, and healthy coping and responding, conquering the internal love hate conflict, letting go, and moving on with the new you. Part 5, that is the last part of this workbook, maintaining your success and personal power, maintaining your gains, life beyond your BPD. And then you get like a letter from the doctor that wrote this book. There is there is 249 pages in this workbook. Definitely recommend it. I am like halfway through it already. I'm halfway through it. So I definitely think that if you are someone with BPD, I really think that you should get into this workbook and find out the root cause, what you can do to change it. Obviously, it's all up to you. Coping skills, the moment we've been waiting for. I think you guys literally like wait for these coping skills. I know I would. I actually learned a couple of coping skills going into this. Um, I didn't know a lot of these coping skills until, like, I did a lot of research today to like further try to find coping mechanisms because I didn't feel like I had enough. So here we go. Time away. That is a coping skill. What time away is you're accepting the emotion, distracting yourself, and being able to emotionally regulate. So intense, so it's for when you have those intense emotions of rage. So what you're going to do, you are going to take yourself out of the environment, right? So let's say me and somebody are fighting, and let's say it's at my house, and I get this really intense emotion and I'm raging, right? I'm about to split. Just remember, I have to explain what splitting is. I will come back to that. So you're gonna take yourself out of the environment. So you can go on your porch, you can go in your backyard, you can go for a walk. But you have to take yourself out of the environment. When you feel like you're getting too angry and you feel like you cannot calm yourself down, you need to remove yourself. There is no shame in doing that. It doesn't mean you lost. It is, you are doing it for your own self because you love yourself and you're trying to take care of yourself. So you need to remove yourself. I know it feels like, oh, they're going to win, I'm going to lose. Like, it's not like that, honey. Just take yourself out of it. Then you are going to do your box breathing. So that's that 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out. And you are going to keep repeating that. And then I want you to ask yourself these questions. Is what I'm feeling based in reality? Majority of the time, it's going to be no, right? It's going to be no. Because a lot of times our emotions get so heightened over the littlest things that we don't even need to be upset about. And then the second question I want you to ask is this the logical part of my brain or the emotional part of my brain? What this is going to do while you are asking yourself these things, majority of the time, it's your emotions. It's your emotions. That's why, because we're emotionally irregulated. What this is going to do is it's going to help lower your heart rate. You're distracting your mind, and your emotions are going to start to regulate. Continue to do this until you feel calm, and then you can put yourself back into that environment, continue the conversation, or choose to not continue with the conversation. This is about you, your emotions. We're just keeping those raging emotions from being too much and possibly causing you to lose control. We don't want that. Play it forward. What is that? So what it is it's a you're reaffirming your brain that the current situation is safe and you are okay. So what are you going to do? You are going to pretty much, you're asking, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to play it forward. So you are going to say, let me think of an example. 1 second. So the play it forward is you take yourself out of the situation and you're going to think to yourself, you're going to do that timeout. You're going to do your box breathing and stuff. And then you're going to kind of think of like forward. You're thinking forward. Like, is this really going to solve anything? Is this really necessary for me to get this upset about it. Try to think of other things that are happening. So here's a good example. I just found it. Okay. So let's say you're in a relationship and you just keep getting this feeling that your significant other is cheating on you, right? And it's causing your emotions to start to intensify. And then we start to get upset. We're starting to push our partner away, all because we think that they're cheating. But we don't have any proof that they're cheating. They haven't given us any reason to think that they're cheating. We are just scared they're going to leave us for somebody else. That's that fear of abandonment. So we need to sit here and we need to think, okay, would he really cheat on me? What has he shown that he's cheated? Majority of the time it's nothing. Now what do we do next? Now we have to sit here and think, okay, he hasn't given me any reason to think he's cheating. I have no proof that he is cheating. So he's not cheating. I am just scared that he's going to leave me for somebody else, and my brain's trying to trick me. So that is that play it forward. Now, if you keep doing that, and then you also get to the root of why you are panicking in the first place. Why are we panicking? Why are we thinking that he's cheating? Oh, because it happened before. It happened in an old relationship I had. But it's not fair for you to take your past relationships into your new one. So we have to really, that's why I said journaling is going to be your best friend. It's going to help you find the roots of to why your emotions are getting so intense majority of the time. Tip, TIPP. What coping mechanism is that? Temperature. Remember in my last video, I was saying cold. Anything cold will help shock your brain and snap you out of whatever the heck you're going through. So temperature is going to change your body temperature. So you're going to splash your face with cold water. You're going to hold an ice cube, open the freezer, let the cold air hit your face, or you're going to put something cold all on your body. I is for intense exercise. Do intense exercise that is as intense as your emotions. So that could be you sprint to the end of the road and then you come back, jumping jacks, push-ups, or dancing. You are going to do it as intense as your emotions. So let's say that I'm in a flippin' rage, I'm ticked, I'm freaking out, I want to pull my hair out. I can feel it from my head to my toes. Go run out the door. Just run. It don't matter where you're going. Just run. Or dance, or do jumping jacks, or push-ups. Anything to match the intensity. Then you're going to do paced breathing. That is your box breathing. That is your 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out. And you're going to continue to do that. Progressive muscle relaxation. What is that? You are going to focus on one muscle group. So let's say my hands. I am going to tighten my muscles as much as I can for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to release it. And then you are going to repeat that with other muscle groups. What this is going to do is this is also when you are in your intense emotional state, it is going to help regulate your emotions because not only are you distracting your mind, you're also working your body to help you get a little tired and calm down. Walking away from the argument. Now, if you're in an argument, that's why I said, with the intense exercise, just run. If you feel you're getting very, very angry and you feel like they're not understanding you, they don't hear you, or if you just think that you can't calm down, run. Just run out the door. Obviously inform your people, if I look like I'm getting very intense and I just blast out the door and I start running, that's why. Just so they know that, like, if you run out the door, you're not like running away, you're literally just trying to control yourself. Do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. That is another coping mechanism. What is do it tomorrow? Exactly what I said. Do it tomorrow. Make that phone call tomorrow. Send that text tomorrow. Have that argument tomorrow. So if you guys are having an argument, very intense, can't calm down, do it tomorrow. Give yourself 24 hours to think about it. Sleep on it. Rest on it. Think about it. Think before you do it. That's the thing. When we can't regulate our emotions, we're very impulsive. What does impulsivity do? It makes you say things you don't mean. It makes you do things you don't want to do. I mean, in that moment, obviously you want to do it, but it's not something you would do normally. So think about it for 24 hours. Don't act on it right away. Give yourself time. This one, I don't know if I would ever do it, only because like I think I would laugh at myself. But then again, maybe I should. Record yourself when you are in that high intense amount of rage. Instead of taking it out on other people, record yourself yelling. Get it all out. Record yourself, and if you're in therapy, show your counselor. They're not going to laugh at you. I mean, I would probably laugh at myself showing my counselor how ridiculous I look. But at the same time, it's going to show you what you're saying and why you're saying it. And it's going to help you figure out the root to the problem. Oh, I love this one. Okay. This is another one. Obviously, you're going to want to go into a private place. Okay. You're going to sit down. You're going to put your hands together like this. Okay. And when you're mad and stuff, you're going to count backwards from 100. Do it by ones, do it by twos, do it by fives, do it by 10s, 20s, whatever you want. I don't care. So you're going to go 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92. This is helping you breathe, distracting your mind. So you're going to come down. You're going to start to regulate those emotions. That's kind of like, they say in counseling to give yourself a hug and pat each side of your shoulder and just breathe. This is another coping mechanism, you guys. Because it feels like you're being hugged and patted, and you just close your eyes and you just breathe. That will help. So try it. Don't say you're going to try it, actually do it. Okay. So borderlines are very sensitive. What do I mean by that? They're emotionally hyper alert. What does that mean? Still probably doesn't make sense, does it? So we can notice when other moods change, when other people's moods are changing. So let's say, like, we're with our friends or with our boyfriend and they're talking to us and they're all happy and smiley, and the next thing they go like this. We're going to ask them what's wrong, and they're going to be like, nothing's wrong. Right? They might get annoyed by it because why do we keep asking? We are going to think we did something wrong. We take it personally. we misinterpret the change and we think that we did something wrong and now you're mad at us. It happens. It happens. We are very, very sensitive to other people's emotions because we are so scared of that abandonment that we think that no matter what, everybody's going to leave us. So even if you're irritable, you could be irritable from work, and we literally, if you don't talk about it, we're going to feel like we did something wrong. So I'm not going to get too into this, only because I really think that everybody just needs to do the work. I feel like it gives us a different type of understanding, a different type of productivity, and it also helps us put in the work and the effort in our relationship. Obviously, if you are somebody that is dating a person with BPD, you reading the books or doing a workbook yourself shows a lot of I can't think of the word right now. It just shows us that like you're really trying, like you really care, you really want to learn with us while we're doing it. Really, really highly recommend this book. Again, I don't own this book. I own no rights to this book. This is not my book. Stop Walking on Eggshells. This is for people who are dating people with BPD. They also have a workbook, the Stop Walking on Eggshells workbook. Highly recommend it. If you are with somebody that has BPD, make them get this book. And you get this book or the workbook and you both do them together. I'm telling you, it is going to help you. It is going to help strengthen your relationship because it shows the both of you that you are really trying to make it work. You're trying to understand, you're trying to help, you're really just trying to make it work. It is going to speak volumes to us, and it's also going to teach you things, and it's going to teach you how to identify the triggers, how to handle situations when we're in that splitting. Now, splitting. What is splitting? Splitting is when a person with BPD gets very, very angry very quickly, and we can say the craziest things. It makes it to where you don't really know like who we are in a sense. Let me try to find let me look in this Stop Walking on Eggshells book. Let's see if I can find something splitting. Okay, people with BPD view others through extremes of idealization and devaluation as either the wicked witch or the fairy godmother, a saint or a demon. When you seem to be meeting their needs, they cast you in the role of superhero. But when they think that you failed them or they want to be independent, you become the villain. Because people with BP have a hard time integrating a person's good and bad traits, their current opinion of someone is often based on their last interaction with them. It's as if they lack a long-term memory. If you have a partner with BPD, when you first got together, they may have thought you were the most magnificent person in the world. This feels great to almost everyone, but it is like nectar to folks who grew up in families where they didn't feel important or loved for themselves or allowed to feel and express their emotions. But what goes up must come down. Your partner with BPD is looking for a 24/7 white knight in a life that is happy ever after. When you continue living your own life, which involves a job, friends, and your family, the person with BPD may become jealous and start demanding that you give up large chunks of your life. At that point, you get battered off the pedestal and turn into a villain. While you can't prevent this entirely, entirely. When your loved one wants to put you on a pedestal, don't believe you belong there, because it's actually a trap and it will be a rough ride down. Remind your loved one that you are not perfect, not a perfect ideal person, and when they split, you, in the opposite way, remind them that their anger and accusations are not actually about you. There's another key aspect to the splitting. People with BPD also split themselves, often into a victim or hero, or into someone capable or someone incompetent. People with BPD commonly base their sense of self-worth on their last achievement or the lack of one. They judge themselves as harshly as they judge others. So at times, whatever they do is never good enough. At other times, they see themselves as helpless victims of other people, even when their victimhood is partially or entirely the result of their own actions. That is splitting. And usually we split when we're mad. It sucks to split. And it sucks that we have to be like that. We don't want to be mean. We don't want to hurt you. We want to be normal. And we are trying. If you follow the steps and go through the journey that I am, you're trying. Because we all deserve to be happy. We all deserve to have resources and to make our own life better and others' lives better. And the journey that, going to therapy and doing the work and putting in the time speaks volumes. And it's changed my life already. Just know that, like, if you are diagnosed with BPD, it will explain a lot of your life. But also, a really good step is to accept the things that you have done and try to get that closure for the people that you did hurt. It helps. It helps get that weight off your chest. And it makes you feel better. I mean, obviously, you're still going to feel like crap for the things that you did, but it is going to feel different. Maybe like you're finding yourself again. My personal experience with BPD, it sucks. It sucks, but I am somebody that likes to try to understand my own brain. I want to help others and I want to help myself. This experience definitely has been crazy. It has explained a tremendous amount of my life. I am somebody that went through a lot of trauma. That was not nice to me. I was misdiagnosed for a long time. Really, really wish that I knew all the things that I know now, because maybe I would have been a little better. But what matters is that I am now, and I am healing, and you can get into remission with BPD. You can. You have to put in the work. Like, in, couples, if you date someone with BPD, seriously, you have to read this book. You have to understand that, and I'm not making excuses. And I hate when people say that. You're just making an excuse. It's not. It's really, really not. We have such a hard time regulating our emotions, and we're so impulsive that we say things that we really don't mean. And when we realize what we did, it completely crushes us. It will. We will get severely depressed because we just don't understand why we did that. And so you have to understand that, like, you cannot take what we say personally. You can't. I know that when we are on our highs, we are the most loving people ever. It's very rewarding. But when we are in our lows, we seem like the worst person on the world. And we are sorry. We are very, very sorry. We do not want to be like this. I know I can, now that like I've realized it, the books, like I said, the book has helped me a lot realize like my triggers and everything. So like now that I think about it, and I can like now I can look back at like my past and like my actions and everything, and I can realize like what what it felt like before I started to have my intense anger and everything, so I can catch it before it gets to that point. um, I am now able to be like, okay, I'm about to split, I need space. Or I'm in a certain mood, I need my space, I need my time out, I just need time to myself right now. Or even if it's something little, I will let that person know and I'll say, hey, this really bothered me. I do want to speak about it, but I want to wait to speak about it. That's going to help you in your relationship a lot. It's going to help you from those very intense, impulsive arguments. Um, Another thing is I can like feel it. Like I can feel it starting to progress now and I can stop it. And that's when I take my time out. I do my tip. I do my wait for tomorrow. Um, because in those moments, I can get, I start to shake when I'm very angry. I feel that burning sensation from my head to my toes. It's very, very physical for me. I can feel it. It's very intense. It's very horrible. It makes me feel like I'm going to jump out of my own skin because it's just so uncomfortable. So just know that when we get to those stages, even if you need to walk away for your own peace of mind, do it. um, we are not going to blame you after we finally calm down. We are not going to blame you for wanting to take yourself out of the situation as well. And I'm speaking to the significant others who are with the BPD people. Um, we are not going to blame you if you have to remove yourself from the situation. We understand that it can be very, very intense. But just be gentle. Be gentle. Let us know that like you're here for us, but you're not gonna overbear us, if that makes sense. So like, definitely tell us like you're here for us if we want to talk or anything, but definitely give us our space. um we are taking the space not only for you but for ourselves, and we want to be better, so we really just need that space to calm down. um Let me think of some other things. Some other things. I don't really know what else I have. That's pretty much it. Um, I will be going live on Saturday, so if I have anything to add, I probably will. I usually, when I do an episode, I try to do a little bit more research. I kind of reflect on everything that I said to see if there's anything else that pops in my mind that didn't during the episode. And I try to talk about it on the podcast. So if you are a partner who has any questions about people with BPD, please feel free to message me, or I can answer the questions on the podcast. You are free to join. They're Saturdays at 6 o'clock. Please, I definitely encourage people, please, please, please get on these lives, you guys. ask any questions. I love being questioned. I love channeling my mind and getting the answers that you guys need. This podcast is for you guys. It is not for me. I'm not gaining anything from it. I really just want to help people because there's not enough resources out there. And then people with BPD themselves, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Even if you send me a question, you're like, hey, I want you to answer this anonymous, like, I want to be anonymous. I have a question. Can you please answer it on your live and go over it? I will do that. I will not, I will not call people out who ask me questions. It is your private life. But if you would like me to attach it to the live, just for other people, they might have the same question. They might be going through the same thing and they might need the same answer. So please ask. Let me see. I think that's it today, you guys. Definitely get these workbooks. Get them. Just do them. I'm telling you. It might sound silly. You guys might think like, oh, like, I don't got time for that. Even if you do like a page a day, it can make a huge difference. I mean, because this workbook is like, it's proven to help people with BPD. I mean, it's rewiring your brain. It's teaching you those healthy thoughts and feelings and everything. So, and then, the stop walking on eggshells. I mean, this is not just for people who are in relationships. These could be for parents as well. There's a lot of stuff in here about like, teens that have BPD and what you can do and stuff. This book is to help you to stop tiptoeing around us and being scared of us. We're not going to hurt you. But it's gonna give you like, what to do if like we have suicidal threats or self-harm or self-mutilation, physical abuse, like, like what can you do? Like, this is also for parents as well. I don't want you guys to feel like you're lost in the world, like you have to like, uh bow down to us, I guess, in a way. You do not. You should not ever have to bow down to anybody. It also like tells you like you have to, take care of yourself, take responsibility for your own behavior. Um, don't take BPD behavior personally. Keep a sense of humor. Making changes within yourself, taking control of your life. It also is saying, I will give this little tip out right now. If you are dating somebody with BPD and you have children, when we are going into our splitting, where we are getting very angry, and we are shouting, we're just very intense, take the children and go to the park. Because what that is going to do is, for one, it's going to make us realize that our behavior is too intense. And for two, what that also is going to do is it's going to give us that time to calm down and self-reflect. So yes, it's not because we're in danger. That's not what it's saying at all. It's literally just for everybody's sake, I guess, to just have that time away from each other. So I am very, very happy that I was able to cover this today. I know that there's way more that goes into BPD than what I have mentioned. They're still studying it. They're still trying to figure everything out with BPD. Like I said, everybody's different. All their symptoms and traits and everything are different. So it's very, very hard to like get a complete one and done thing out of it. So yes, Saturday, please get on the live. please get on the live and ask me questions, and I will try to look up more tips. If you guys want to hear more about relationships with somebody with BPD, please let me know that. We can go over that in the live on Saturday. I can get more into the book, give more tips and everything about that. So yes, I am really, really happy that I'm able to do this for you guys. I'm very happy that, everybody and all the support that I've been getting for the podcast, the positive remarks and everything. It really tells me that I'm doing what I need to do for you guys. I will continue my research, continue to find more coping mechanisms and stuff for everybody, even for people who are dating people with a BPD. So yes, I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing and a beautiful day. Stay safe, journal, and do your coping mechanisms. Let's try our coping mechanisms. See if they're helping us. If they're helping you, please let me know. I love to know that if I'm doing what I need to do here. Like I said, this is for you, not for me. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week, and I will see you guys on Saturday.